My name is Phryne Williams and I work for an executive search firm, Capital Recruitments. We've been running since 1995 and mainly specializing in working in roles that are in the investment industry, as well as banking and financial services in general. There's a few things that graduates could do when going in for interviews. And the one thing that I think is so important is to be prepared for the interview. So if you're going in to see a company that specifically specializes in an industry or has a product suite to offer, make sure you know all about the business. Go onto LinkedIn, stalk them a little bit, find out as much as you can about them if possible. Secondly, I would go through the job spec in detail, find out exactly what it is that you're being interviewed for, and try and look up a couple of test questions around what could be asked in an interview such as that. But remember, the most important thing in an interview is to be personable, to connect. People employ people that they connect with. So you do want to show your technical ability, and that's why you're going to be doing the preparation, but not too much to the point that you sound scripted. When you come in to see a recruiter, make sure that you know a little bit about the area that they specialize in. Follow up with them regularly and ensure that, well, think about it. They've got thousands of candidates that are coming to them, right? So chances are they're not often going to be contacting you, which, isn't great for you, but you've got one person to call. The recruiters have got hundreds. So be that person that follows up on email. And if you can't get hold of them on email to set up the interview for a job you really want, call them. Tell them, Palo, I saw this amazing job advertised on LinkedIn. I'd really like to apply because these are the reasons why I think I qualify for this job. Please, can I spend 5 minutes of your time on a Teams interview, just chatting to you about this, and you'll see that I am the right candidate for this job. But do yourselves a favor. If you're going to go that angle, don't just say you're the right person for the job, because that's very salesy. Kind of add in why. So make sure that you're able to persuade a recruiter to see you out of the thousands of applicants they're getting. Look the part. Everything you see, the impression you give, first impressions, so important. It's not just a cliche that first impressions count. They really do. And sometimes it's just basic things like manners. Walk in, be warm and friendly. Say to them, thank you so much for taking the time to meet me. I know that you're busy. Those things go such a long way, just being a polite, gracious human being. Don't forget that when you're in the interview, either with the company or with the recruiter, that you want to weave in subtly some of your achievements. So let's think about that. It could be perhaps that you had a leadership role at some point during a project or in a society at university. You might reference it and say, while I was the head of this and that, we did this, that, and the other, and achieved this, that, and the other. You're being subtle about it, but you're also helping the person that's interviewing you to see some of the things that you did that you're subtly highlighting for them. These things are important, and the way that you understand and remember your own profile, and that you've had some practice at saying things about yourself confidently, you will then be able to remember all of the achievements that you've had during university, or some of the things that you've done that you think would be attractive to the person that's interviewing you. You see, what employers are looking for is that you're special in some way. And we're all special, right? But sometimes we don't put forward just how special we are. But if you aren't communicating clearly some of the things that make you special in an interview, your interviewer will never know that about you. So you want to mention things maybe that you did in matric. Perhaps you were a captain of a team or a prefect or something that makes you stand out, because don't forget that demonstrates leadership. Academics is one thing, but also being well-rounded, sports that you played or extramural activities like social work you did in terms of charity or volunteerism, it's very important to include. At the end of an interview, make sure you've planned a couple of questions that you can ask. So let's think about it. When you meet somebody and they ask you a lot about yourself, and you talk and talk and talk and tell them all about yourself, isn't it nice when they ask you a few questions, either about the company or personally what it is that you love about your job? Just show interest, number one, and number two, show a little bit of intelligence around what the company does. So in your research about the company, you might notice that they did an incredible deal with some international organization. You might want to say, I realize that this doesn't fall necessarily in, the role that you play, but I see your company did that major deal with Australia. How did that impact the company? Did you notice a lot of culture change? So plan good, intelligent questions without sounding terribly rehearsed or that you've learned the question off by heart. So genuine curiosity goes a hell of a long way.